for YouTube. Done. Got it. All right. So, real quick, to give y'all an idea of what I got going on, I had to do a lot of work to get this set up properly. It was very problematic, to say the least. It did not want to work correctly, and it was a big bummer. But I finally got everything squared away. So now I don't have a whole lot tracked. There's a couple of small sections that have like some demo stuff tracked in. So that'll be there as I do this next little play along. Because I'm trying to get myself warmed up and potentially record this week. But I got to develop the end a little bit. I'm not 100% certain I like it. So we shall see. In the meantime, here we go. It's jam time. Let's get it. Messed up that one section. I still need to figure out what I want to do there. Up so bad. Fuck that up. Oh, I messed up. I had plenty of mistakes in there. I also think there's a spot where the snare might be off on one of those. So we're going to dig into that. Oh, lost audio for a second. We're going to dig into that here in a second. I just threw Omega on a guitar part that's just there for layering right now so I can hear it as I'm playing along to it. Yeah. Overall, I'm stoked on this one. I have a lot of fun when I play this one. It's a little difficult to get some of those because if you're not in the right spot, it won't ring out long enough. Also, I just realized that, man, this mix is loud right now. There we go. Let's try that. Let me see how it sounds. That's a little better. Excuse me. So let's try that again. Actually, I need to find that spot where I think the snares are out. Where was that at? Damn. I guess that's right. I guess I just played it wrong, which is totally understandable because I am still trying to get this one figured out. So, to give you guys an idea of what I got going on, I originally was working on this in another project, and I pulled the files out so I could have a whole blank new project because the drums I was using were different at the time. Some other like weird mix choices that I just didn't feel like undoing when I already have a template. So I loaded everything up into my template, and here we are. So that being said, I need to get it down and under my fingers properly, but I don't really want to record it because I need to change my strings. So I'm kind of like struggling over the idea of, do I record it anyway? And then that way I have something to listen back to, because I'm not sure if all of it's working properly or if there's any kind of like adjustments that I need to make. So I think that I might end up doing some tracking off stream. I'm not going to do that on stream because I tried that before and it was a nightmare. And that way I'll have something to listen back to and, consider, production choices and, different writing techniques, anything that I might be missing. So let's give it another spin and kind of see how we're going. And then after I work on that a little bit, then I'm going to go into some tone chasing because I have so many amp sims, and I thought it might be kind of fun to show how I would go about achieving cool tones with different sims, with different guitars also. So you're not just like, oh yeah, this one sim, is just good for everything. It's like, oh well, I could use this sim for 6 strings in this in this context, that kind of thing. So should be fun. Here we go. Still need to work on that transition over there. Fuck that up. I gotta get that part. I keep messing that up. I have to focus on that a little bit later. Got a lot to work on that section. Yeah. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do some demo tracking just so that way I have a current version to listen to, because I'm noticing that as I'm playing back against some of the sections I had previously recorded, I'm playing it a little differently now. So I might as well, kind of take that into account. So I'm going to tune up real quick. Save you all the hassle of having to hear me tune up, though, and mute the output on that. Sydney! How are you doing? I am doing okay. I'm still a little sick. It never seems to end, but it'll get better eventually. Not the end of the world. Let's see here. We're going to go ahead and mute all these tracks. Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry. It's never good when you get sick. She got some medicine or anything? She doing okay other than that? I mean, is it like real bad, or just kind of like sick, doesn't feel good, getting some medicine, gonna be better eventually? No, I hope not. Is she keeping herself away from y'all just to try to limit the chances of you guys getting it? This tone is cool. All right. I'm gonna try to track this real quick. We'll see how this turns out. Sounds good. Shoot me a message whenever. Love you too. Okay. So you're staying away from it. That's good. Yeah, text me. Okay. Love you. Bye. Tracking time. I'm gonna have to work on part of that. Be all right though. I really need to work on that transition area. I gotta work on that whole section. Okay. So getting these notes here to ring out correctly is a pain in the ass. Not a fan of how much I suck at it. It's going real well. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go, get rid of that. Heyo. Let's just retract the whole end there. Trying to get that to ring out properly is a nightmare. You know what I might need? Additional grit. Oh, that's probably got a lot to do with it. I had a gate on there that I do not need. It's letting a little bit more of the note through. I might need to settle back on this gate as well. There we go. See, now things are responding a little bit more like they're supposed to. So I can go in here. I did a little bit of tone hunting for this specifically because this riff, this whole song is very aggressive, gross. You know, it needed that extra oomph. So most of my playing lately has been very dialed back on gain, whereas this song needs a little extra in order to achieve that like just thick, disgusting sound. It might help also with that little run that I tried to do for, just a little touch of fancy footwork, That was the other spot that I was having some trouble with. The fun part is I have to relearn. There's a higher part that plays alongside that. So while you've got one guitar, the other one is going. I can't remember how to play it right now, so I'm not going to mess around with it too much. I've got it in Guitar Pro, so I will probably just track with the lower chords for now, because I'm gonna have to go back and relearn that one, which is funny because the original guitar part is the one that I can't remember how to play now, and the one that I'm playing now was the one that I couldn't remember at first because I had just written it. So did a flip flop. Love that. So we're going to. Excuse me. Sorry for the cough drop in the microphone, but your boy needs it. Yeah, we're gonna take care of this last part one more time. Actually, you know what? I might change it. I think part of the reason I'm struggling is because this sounds really good for just like attack metallic, but it doesn't have a whole lot of natural sustain to it because it's not a natural harmonic. So maybe instead, I might do that, where one guitar will play, each note. So you get together, they go, and then the other one will play the. Yeah, I think that'd be kind of cool. I'm gonna do that. Let's get it. All right, now I'm not worried about the fact that I messed up coming into that note properly because this is all for demo's sake. So let's get this part rolling, shall we? Oh, hang on just a second. I got unfortunately, I'm working on a collab with some friends, and I had to go through a whole lot of trouble to fix my MIDI because for some reason, when I'm exporting in Cubase now, and I tried to find an answer as to why it's happening, but whenever I export, it's like the notes just drift off time. They don't stay locked to the grid, and there's no specific amount of quantizing that seems to be able to rectify the problem. So I literally had to go through and just move everything in chunks. I would move everything. I quantized everything to like 128 or 64th notes and then started sliding them in groups. But then all of a sudden, it would be off again. So then I'd have to make a cut there, move the entire project, make a cut, move the entire. It's just so fucking annoying. I have no idea what's causing it other than the fact that I am using Windows drivers instead of Radeon drivers because I've been getting crashing while using Radeon drivers. But I let Windows find its most stable driver. And so far, I've experienced no issues. But if it happens again anyway, then I'm just going to have to go back to the Radeon drivers and say, screw it. but I don't even know if that's possibly what's causing it. It's the strangest problem to have. I'm not a fan. Anyway, let's get this tracked. There we go. Nice. It's really strange because it didn't happen to any of my audio tracks. So I really have no clue. Like if you look up here where it says musical mode, it's not even turned on, right? If I turn on musical mode, it'll like start messing with some of my tracks. Actually, I didn't do it here. That's weird. It does it with like imported tracks, I think maybe. No, it's not doing it there either. Okay. I don't know what's going on with that and why that's not triggering because it used to like cause huge issues if I would turn on musical mode. It would like all of a sudden shrink the track. I guess maybe they took care of that bug, but I've got some new bug going on with my MIDI that I just cannot figure out for the life of me. It's really frustrating. Anyway, let's try to track the other side real fast. Again, I'm not going to be able to play the chords properly. Oh well, we'll get over it. I already got tripped up. We'll just start from right there. Mess that up. Let's try that again. All right, we're gonna cut this part out right around that section there that I'm screwing up on. This whole segment right here is really not well thought out at the moment. And then it picks back up where I know what I want it to go to. Maybe that'd be kind of a cool little adjustment to that part, but it's still the same idea. Yeah, let's do that. I like that a lot. So I'm going to track both sides of that real quick. There we go. And then I'll just have to work out that middle section there. getting better at it. I fucked up the very end of that. I'm playing around with a couple different ideas. Maybe the neck bend instead of the, or I do that, at the same time the other's going. Could be kind of cool. I'm not as worried about getting that exactly right now because, it doesn't make a dent. All right. Let's see here. Just gonna move some of these notes around. And then I need to fix the end here. Yeah, that's what I messed up right there. Good enough for now. All right, so now we've got enough here, sort of, to be able to listen back to it. I definitely don't need this anymore. I'm going to leave these here for now, but they're still soloed, or they're muted out so you can't hear them. But this will give me something that I can listen to, going forward. Like while I'm at work or something, I can kind of take a listen to the track and be like, okay, what am I going to do with this section, for example? I've got one other thing that I kind of want to figure out, and it is somewhere in here. It's, this section right here. All right, now I basically want to take this and not do that anymore. Yeah, like. Maybe that. Maybe something like that. I've been experimenting with this idea of changing up that pattern, specifically just because I do it all over the place in this section. So this is me just trying to find an alternative thing to play in this segment, So we'll kind of see what I got to here. I've got that much time right there. I think I want to fill just these two quarter notes, maybe. So basically play some eighth notes in there. So you get that. Maybe, let's see. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, I kind of like that. That's kind of got a little extraness that I, enjoy to it. And again, right there, because I do the and go right into that. I'm kind of hoping to take out all of these different in order to leave room for the so it just kicks off there instead of like already playing that particular note. So yeah, so this one included. All right. So how would I go about playing all these? I kind of like the idea of potentially foreshadowing the at the end of the track because I've already used every other. Even though I think technically that might be considered out of key or something because it doesn't quite sound right with the rest of the track. But I don't care. It's noise, and I like noise. Gotta get that right. I really enjoy that transition. That little extra Viljarda bend out of nowhere is kind of cool. Maybe that would be kind of cool there. Let me see how that sounds. Yeah, maybe split them up between the two guitars. So one goes and the other. And that way they end on that nasty harmonic together. It might be kind of cool. Let me try. Let's see what this section sounds like. Yeah, I can do that for sure. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to change this. We need like 3 measures so I can come in on this and do it right. I think I started that early. I think I can start that here. I think that's the idea, maybe. Maybe even further back. Mm-mm. Nah, I think this is right. Yeah, I just rushed it. All right. Is it here? Yeah, it is. I just got to make sure I play it on the downbeat. All right. We got this, y'all. I'm going to get it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Okay. I am definitely not playing that right. Yeah, I think I was right originally. And now I'm just messing it up real bad. It's realistically supposed to be here. And let it ring out. Yep. So we're looking at an 8th note pickup. Am I doing that right? Let me change this to I'm on the wrong editor. There we go. And then it's like right in the middle of all this. I'm going to throw an extra kick in there so I can hear it coming. Yeah. We'll see if that's enough to get me to do it right. I'm pretty sure I can handle it. It's just I got to make sure I actually pull it off. So here we go. Let's do that one first. Perfect. Well, I wouldn't say perfect, but good enough now that I don't need to worry about it. Other side with the other note that we were talking about. There we go. The idea is now laid. We now know what we are doing here. Good enough. Trail that back. Let's go ahead and grab all of, you know what? Bam, like that. There we go. Crossfades in place. And then I might even be able to do something like production-wise, like I'm hearing the ability to go to that note, but then dive bomb it. But I don't have a dive bomb. So what I would end up doing is programming a pedal to do it. So, but I'm not going to do that now because it takes a while to get that all set up. And I don't feel like messing around on stream for 25 minutes trying to get the pedal to work correctly. So that's the kind of thing that I can do later because it's technical. And then I can get back to being creative later, after that's been established. So let's go ahead and get this one done real quick. This one was a lot easier. I kind of like that. I'm going to do that. Other side. Cool. We're going to nudge these over just a smidge. Grab, and crossfade, and okay. Now. This part sounds like this. Yo, what up, homie? No worries. I appreciate you stopping in at all. It is never expected, and it is always appreciated. I am just working on essentially what's going to be the next single after With Veins of Pink Glass. My buddy Nick came over last night, and we were talking, and we think this one's pretty good. I need to adjust some parts. So that's kind of what I'm messing with now. I was just kind of working through some stuff. Riff sounds dope. I appreciate that, dude. Thank you. having a hard time hearing this. Oh, I see what's happening. The guitars are just a little quieter than everything else. That's fine. Let's see. There we go. Get that down. Let's handle some guitars real quick. First of all, one of the most amazing plugins of all time, Amplified Instrument. There we go. Amplified Instrument Processor. We take away some of the lows that we don't need. We roll back some of the highs to about 12K. I don't like to go too much further than that because I feel like it just completely takes the top end out. This button right here is the magic button for all guitar. Listen to this difference, okay? Old, new. Man, what that does. I absolutely love that. It's so good. This helps me attenuate the 4K area and some of its like sympathetic frequencies. So we just kind of twirl that a little bit. It's just like a little extra bite. I like it. This helps push the stereo image a little beyond, straight up left and right, which I find is helpful. Like I don't want to go crazy because it sounds out of phase. And obviously we don't want it to be mono. But a lot of times I end up getting into sections where I've got multiple quadded guitars or something, and then they'll be panned on the track level at 50, 30, 70, something. And this will help kind of widen that a little bit, but I find that it doesn't overdo it. So I like it. So I usually end up applying a little bit of that. This is compression. I don't think I need that as much. This is a dynamics processor, however. This one I like. So I bring this one down into like the 180, 150, 120, somewhere in there, wherever you're noticing your palm mutes are like really hitting really hard. And so you can set it to where it doesn't come through as much unless you're doing the jun jun. All right, cool. I like how that is starting to sound. And I'm not going to do too much else right now because I'm not trying to mix. I just wanted this to be at a level that it's supposed to be. So we're going to bring up the little E track here. This will let me know how things are coming across. That's cool. There's a lot of mids in the guitars right now that I'm not a big fan of. Specifically, it's the muddy 500-ish nonsense that nobody really cares for. We're gonna go hunt that down. I'm just gonna do a broad scope of it, maybe a dB or two. You don't need to do too much. You just want to pull it out. Yeah, it just helps clean it up a little bit. Much better. there's no bass there. I'm also noticing that one of the things that as soon as the bass is gone, the guitars are really noticeable. So there's a little bit of clashing going on between the bass tone that I've got, which is just kind of already built into uh, my uh, template that I'm using right now. So we're gonna go ahead and just kind of roll back on that a little bit. Oh, there we go. Output. Just pull back on it just enough. Now there's no bass. It's gone. We're sad. I'm not going to program that on stream right now, though. I don't feel like doing that. So I'm feeling a lot better about these sections now, especially this part right here. This is cool. Yeah, I'll have to add in some synth or something to this section to help make it ridiculous. I gotta work this section out. I kind of have this idea where before, as I was bringing this section to a close, I was coming into I go right back to that same note. So I don't know that I really want to do that. I think I want to do something else with this section. So you get this like vibe of see what I mean? I keep gravitating towards that and I don't really want to do that. So I think I need to this is one of those things where this is like, the development. So if I don't settle on anything today, it's okay. I'll probably just leave it open. I'm going to try a couple of things and see if anything like grabs me right now. But if I don't have anything there, that'll be something that when I make a mix down of this later and have it, in my box folder, I can just listen to it while I'm at work and stuff and kind of like, what am I feeling here? What do I really want it to be? And because like right now I'm not taking into consideration lyrics, but there are some that are being developed for this track. So I can kind of use that to my advantage and be like, okay, well, what do I think is going to happen here lyrically? And kind of also let that drive, my ideas. Some cool chords in there. I'm not sure how they're going to sound in this moment, So we're going to test it out. Let's try again. I kind of like that. That little movement right there is kind of cool. There's a few ideas in there, a couple things that I can pull from, so we'll see. There's a lot of different ideas there. I mean, I think essentially I'm just reaching for, not necessarily, I can't even think of a specific minor second or anything. It's more just kind of like whichever one is going to provide the vibe that transitions the best into the next section, which is just kind of more the same, but heavier. So at this point, I can kind of just use anything as a placeholder. And then, over time, experiment and land on the notes that I think are doing the job the best, So let's see here. I'm going to try a couple more times because I've got essentially 6 measures to fill, which is an odd amount of space. Even it's an even number, but I mean, it's not my natural. Normally, I'd be reaching for like a group of 4. So I kind of have to find this like where do the drums kind of change? So like you can tell that like here is where the notes even change. So I don't even have a normal amount of space at all. It's like it switches to like, something over 8 or something, which is fine. I'm not that worried about it. I just need to find the right amount to do, So we'll try a couple more times. After that, I will move on take a quick look at the rest of the song and kind of debate on what to do after that. Ugh. Something's in there. I just unfortunately don't know it off the top of my head because I am not a wizard. Ugh. Okay, so I'm already obviously running out of time here. So I have to be less drawn out with my chord changes. Ooh. Okay, so I can exaggerate them a little bit more than that. Damn. What is the move? All right, hang on. All right, I got a little bit of time there. I'm starting to get a feel for how much space I've got. I just kind of want to, I think I'm going to leave it open for now, like I was mentioning earlier. And then I'm going to spend some more time with that because I'd like to kind of dive in, figure out, do I want to do strumming, you know, or do I want to go like, I kind of like the idea of maybe finding some extra movement in there and then kick back into the. And to be completely honest with you, I might need to change what note I end up on for the. That just might be the wrong call. That might be why I'm struggling so much. You know, so I'll play around with that another time. So let's listen to the rest of the track and kind of see what we got going on. Actually, real quick, because I want to be able to hear this in full context, I'm going to figure out which one of these is the one that I didn't record, as far as you know, what layer's doing what. already did the version of that. So what we're going to do instead here is we're just going to cut these out like so. I'm going to replace this guy here. Tell you what, let me move that back a little bit like that. We're going to get rid of that. Nope, not all of it. Mess that up. Do by bar. By the bar. Move that back a little bit so that way it's lined up as it's supposed to be. And then we just drop that in. And that is so that way I can hear it in context. Because it's meant to be this big, like, lush thing. All right, cool. So I think it's safe to say that now that part makes a whole lot more sense. So. They're meant to go into a different run here. The higher one, I believe, is something like. While the other one does the. Not worried about tracking that right now. I also know that I did some extra production originally on this track, and I'll end up doing it again. In order to make those stand out, there was quad tracking, but only on the stabs. See that? I messed up already. So I kind of like went through on different quads and helped bring those stabs out instead of having to try to like automate it. So that way you can get the natural vibe of the guitar being played with a. But, you know, with some extra enforcement, think of it as like kick samples or snare samples, you know, going on top of your drums. Same kind of concept. I gotta change this real quick. This is 100% the wrong thing for this. I want to eventually design the proper sound for it. I'm not that worried about it though. So I'm basically just going to find something that sounds good and run with it. No, I actually kind of like that, right? But we're gonna go ahead and do some quick stuff to that one. Kind of bring it out a little bit, maybe. Toolbox. Oh no, it's not Toolbox. It is Effect Suite. Here we go. I really like this plugin, Lifeline Expanse. This thing's got some cool stuff in it. It's extremely good for lo-fi, uh, or just like adding drive specifically to synths. I think it can be used on a lot of different things. They've got a lot of presets for different stuff, but I have had the most luck with it with synths. Unfortunately, this one is in mono. So that last chord that gets rung out here. It's not supposed to be quite that. Oh, it's got two. I'm running two things to it. I already had that on there because I knew I liked it. Hey, go figure. Oh, also, that's what's happening. It's not the lifeline that's causing it. It's this guy. There you go. I only wanted that last chord to come through like that. So let's get that back on. See, I've already got lo-fi keys on it because, again, like I said, it does lo-fi really well. Honestly, that's probably good enough. I just want to make sure I can hear it. I've got a second one that I started to design the other day that I'm not liking as much, so that's why it's muted right now. I don't care for it. I think it's the wrong chord progression, and I don't feel like trying to fumble through it right now. So I think that we have reached the point with this particular track that there's not a whole lot else I can do. I need to figure out this section, but I need to have it in my ears for a little bit longer and kind of just like allow myself to come up with some ideas. Nothing says you have to get a whole goddamn song done in one day, as much as I wish I could all the goddamn time. That'd be amazing. That's not my talent. So, I'm going to play along to it one more time, just for good measure for my hands, to get my hands wrapped around it. And then I'm going to do some tone hunting because I haven't done it in a while. And working on this song got me out of the more genty tones that I was using because this is much thicker, which, you know, has its own play style. I have to lean into it a little bit more. I have to make sure that I'm not as worried about, you know, I still want to be articulate, but I have to remember that like not everything I do is going to sound articulate when you are like have that much gain. And I think that's kind of the fun part about tone hunting is it gives you new riff ideas if you do it right. All kinds of fun stuff. So I'm gonna play through this, and then I'm gonna go grab my drink, and then we're gonna do some tone hunting. So let's get it. Messed up the end, but that's all right. I'm not supposed to have it perfect. Not yet, anyway. I'm not playing it live. I'm playing it live on stream, but I'm not in front of hundreds of people pretending like I've been playing this song every day for the past year. So I'm going to give myself a little bit of leeway. I really like how dirty this tone sounds. I'm a huge fan of Loathe, and I believe that they do the just saturated, disgusting sound really well. And I'm not necessarily trying to chase the Loathe sound, but I mean, I did grab a preset that was made by Loathe. However, I have completely modified the hell out of it, and I'm running through my own impulse responses. So I'm going to grab my drink because my blood sugar is dropping, and I did insulin for it, so I need to get that. But I think that it'll be really quick to see, why I said what I said. I don't know why you just got that notification, but I dropped the F-bomb a lot. And also, poly is in the name of my stream, and it's kind of an adult topic. So, hey-o. I'll be right back. I need to grab my energy drink, and then we're going to do some tone hunting. So, everybody who just tuned in, I'm sorry that I'm walking away right as soon as you got here. I am coming back in like 30 seconds. My fridge is around the corner, and I need my energy drink because I did insulin for it. And I am diabetic, and I'm dying. So, 30 seconds. See? It was around 30. I could be wrong. Dying. I'm used to the rudeness. Okay. Whatever. All right, y'all. Tone hunting. So, the nature of this particular song obviously is aggressive, dirty. So this tone fits that. I have a very noisy room. I cannot get away from the RF noises no matter how hard I try. So I end up having to do editing to my guitars after the fact, which is kind of frustrating. But, it's 2022 and you can't let small frustrations stop you from making music. So you have to find ways around it. The best way that I have found is it's a part of R9, or I guess they're on R10 now, from Isotope. They have like a music restoration software suite, called RX9 is what it was at the time when I found it. And it's the Spectrum denoiser. And what it does is it allows you to take a snapshot of your entire frequency spectrum as it's like making noise at you. So what I do is I typically this is how I figured it out. So I just sit here and do a chug. And that leftover RF noise is actually happening before the amp. The amp is just amplifying it, making it noisier than it needs to be. It's a lot of high-end detail, but the good news is that, when you're playing notes or moving around, the fundamental notes are still there, but there's that little bit of that comes through, right? So you take a Spectrum denoiser. You can either pay $600 or more or whatever it is for RX Suite, which I need to do because I don't want to pay for the subscription anymore. But if you need it in a pinch, you can pay their $20 subscription, $25, however much it is. You need to pay a certain amount because you need access to the Spectrum denoiser, and unfortunately, they don't include it in their absolute lowest subscriptions. But what I'll do is I'll throw that on my DIs after I'm done tracking everything, and I know I'm done because it is a huge CPU hit to run that all the time. But anyway, it has an inversion option, so you kind of capture just the tail after the note's kind of gone, like when you don't hear the chug anymore. But that last little bit before my noise gate started to clamp down on it, you can just kind of invert that. And then it basically takes care of like 90% of it. Your DIs sound way better. They sound a little less bright because it does kind of take out the top end information a little bit. It basically just adds like an extra slope to your top end. Oh, well. Me personally, I say, oh, well, because I have no choice, you know? I just want to make music and I have to get around it. The issues that I run into along the way. So that is how I handle things later. But like I said, I can't track through that because that is the biggest CPU hit on the planet. And I'm already doing a million things. So unfortunately, you're going to have to hear a little bit of it now. But tone hunting. So let's bring it up. I often run Helix Native first. I'm currently using Gojira here. We're going to resize this down because it's kind of massive. And then for the purposes of tone hunting, I tend to run my impulse responses through a loader, a separate loader. This is Torpedo, 2 Notes Torpedo. If you purchase like one cab, you get full access to the plugin without any issues. And they're like, like $6 or $7 for a cab. What are you doing, Olive? The cat is meowing at me. So I like to do this though because I also really enjoy the Bogren digital IRs. So I can switch. And this is what that same rhythm tone sounds like through a Bogren IR. The tone itself right now is a little more tailored towards this Unidyne 57 mix that I did from some KSR IRs. I really like their IRs. They sound really good. So if I just like run through that, that's what I'm expecting. So for tone hunting purposes, we're going to turn this off and we're going to turn that off. So now, just me running through the IR. So let's see, what other kind of tones should we get today? One of my absolute favorites. I've been using it a lot lately, and I go away from it for a while, and then I come back and do it again. I really like this Jeff Loomis plugin. I think it sounds amazing. But it does this one thing in particular that I really like. What is it doing? There you go. Turn it off. Now, in order to control some of the hiss, right? Because I'm getting a lot of it. It's because I don't have the gate turned on in this plugin yet. So we turn on a little bit of gate here. But like, and if you want to control some of that, I tend to run the Horizon gate, which is essentially just the gate from the Horizon Devices pedal that's in the Helix Native. And it just kind of like cuts away a little bit more of that out of your active signal. It doesn't take it away completely. It's still there. It just makes it less cumbersome when you're tracking. And then what I'll do if I'm like trying to mix for album tones, I'll go back, use the RX 9, 10, whatever suite they're on, Spectrum denoiser. And then that allows me to kind of approach gating differently because that signal will already be gone. So I won't be trying to attack it so aggressively. Kind of cool. All right, so I can switch IRs. I think this amp sim, just without even touching any knobs, sounds better through the Bogren. You have to do this thing with their rhythm channel, you can push the master so it gets really saturated, but you have to adjust the output volume. Yo, what up, homie? First time chat, Zombino, the streaming man himself. You playing some League today? What are you on? What have you been playing? Dial that back a little bit. There we go. Hey, man, you know, I'm spinning to win, as is per usual. Let's crank that up a little more. Playing Ark and making some money on it. All right. Well done. How in the hell do you do that? And while Fasano is telling the world how he makes money off of Ark, I'm going to show you all one of my favorite sounds. You go over here to Blood. Yeah, crank up the mod. And you end up with this madness. No mod. Just that little bit of mod. It's very new metal. So, you know, you can, you know, if the mod's too high, it gets kind of ridiculous. So, right? So again, I like to push things, find where they sound the best, and then, you know, go from there. So clearly 30 too much. 15 or so, not bad. You know what I mean? Not the worst, but just that little bit of, you know, touch is kind of it's cool for like layers. So if you're like trying to play something in the background. So that can be fun. But take that away. Get back to rhythm. It's got a very like tight feel to it, and I'm not even using an overdrive on it right now. It's the overdrive's turned off in the plugin. The gain's just at like, you know, 35 out of 100, you know, so. Now it's got a little bit of that like flubby low, right? Now you got two options. I can just roll back the bass knob. But I feel like it loses a little bit of something, a little bit of energy. So what I would end up doing is usually I would use the Horizon drive. So we'll turn off the gate here because this has the same gate built in. Unfortunately, it's not quite doing enough. think it depends on the sim I'm playing through. Sometimes I have to dial back on the gate built into the pedal because it'll kind of cut some of your notes, too short. So if you're going like, I'm also noticing that like the Horizon devices pedal inside the Helix with this particular amp sim, I roll back the presence to try to control it, but there's like a little bit of a shh that gets added by using this particular pedal. So something you can try, something that I'm going to try, is adding like a plumes instead, which they added recently. Because that's like pillars there it is. It's got, a crazy amount of gain. The volume output that they put into this pedal, their version of it is sick. You can tell just by like dialing back the level. Right? Crank up the level a little bit. The output on this pedal is just wild. Mode just changes the clipping mode. The plumes has a 3-way selector built in. I gravitate towards 2 personally. Hey, thanks for the follow. I greatly appreciate it. Time is but a thought. It's a fair point. So what I'm noticing now, as I'm just playing through that, is the mids are kind of, noticeable. Specifically 500. I'm not a big fan of 500. Luckily, this particular plugin has an EQ built in. If you don't, you can always, like what I would do is, for example, real quick, the Neural DSP stuff puts an EQ between the amp and the impulse response. So if you're only using one plugin, that's kind of a cool spot for it. I'm not doing that tonight. I am running, my pedals and stuff here. I'm going to go through some different amp sims and stuff right here. Assuming you guys can see all that on screen. Yeah. Off to the left there. And then I have my IR at the end. So if you're doing anything like this and you're struggling to control your mids and the amp sim you're using doesn't have an EQ built in, you can do something like this. As long as you can turn the cab off in the plugin and run a simulator down the chain, then you can throw an EQ in between there. So yeah, again, 500 is kind of killing me. We're going to take away a healthy amount. Yeah, see, just instantly it's cleaner. I don't want to go too far with it because it's really easy to overdo it. So now it's got a good, this is a good tone for chugging. Right? Cool. Now the issue is if I switch guitars, it becomes really really noticeable how differently this sim behaves, and it goes the same with pretty much all sims. Clipped my green screen. So I have this interesting thing going on lately where I have one tone for my 8 string that I really, really like. And I'm struggling to find any other way to approach my 8 string tone. But I just dialed that in for my 7 string, which is in drop A flat. This is in drop E. Oh, hey-oh. It's actually not bad. Oh, except I'm on my neck pickup. But now you start to notice, or what I start to notice is the extra saturation that I'm getting from the plumes, for example, is causing that to be super muddy. So whereas this one, the Horizon Devices pedal earlier added kind of a shh sound to my 7 string, I think the nature of the 8 string is most likely going to cause this to actually work out because it's going to add some elements that are otherwise hard to bring out of your 8 string because it's so low. You know what I mean? So like the difference between the Horizon Drive, like just here's the sim by itself. Horizon or plumes. The plume sounds really good. It's just saturated, and whenever I'm doing some chugs, it loses a little bit of definition. So leaning into the Horizon Drive is kind of the cool thing for your 8 string. I'm also out of tune. Let me tune up real quick. I'm going to set it to where you guys don't have to hear that. It's like the bane of my existence. Always having to check my tuning. Good enough. All right. Much better. There we go. But then I just noticed as I'm playing this particular riff, the thing about like tone hunting and the reason why I like to do it so much is you run into these scenarios where you make like a rhythm tone that you're used to. And you're like, yeah, this is cool. But then if you change up your riffs, all of a sudden something about it's not quite doing what it's supposed to do, right? Like, so if I'm just doing like some standard chugs, you know, that's, you know, it doesn't sound bad. But when I start trying to do another riff that I wrote on my 8 string, which is that. I can't remember how to play that part. So what I'm noticing specifically is like the song opens up with a hammer-on part. Right? But I'm noticing as I'm doing those hammer-ons that I am lacking in a bit of gain. So the gain turned down is good most of the time, but I would want it cranked up a little bit for this. So another thing that I might do as I'm like actually recording tracks, and this is something that I've been trying to lean into more lately, is actually designing your tone around your part. Like I try not to switch up, amp sims per part, unless I'm like really trying to go off the walls and do something crazy. But I mean, like, just small modifications. Like if I'm doing like regular parts of the song or I'm just chugging, I can dial this back and just, right. But then there might be sections where I want to get, just a little more beef out of it. So that's kind of the other cool thing to keep in mind. If you're anything like me and that's how you handle it too, that's kind of cool. So let me know if you see this later on YouTube, or if you're here now and you do tone hunting, let me know what some of your practices are. All right, so now here's the thing. I played this on a 6, or I played this on a 7, and I played it on an 8. But now I'm going to get out my 6. And the cool thing about my 6 is it's got Fishmans, which are active pickups. And I get such a crazy different interaction out of my amp sims with that guitar that it has caused me to go about creating tones for it completely differently. It's really wild. And I'm honestly still not used to it yet. So just a second. I'm going to grab it. Let's do it. Oh, all right. Got to show off the Manus. Oh, hey, look at that. They're right in the way. So, what I'm noticing with this one already, right off the bat, is it's got like this high-end like snapping thing that's going on. And I think it might be that IR. So if we like switch IRs, but now we've got a little extra bass, right? And I can even like accentuate that further with like the plumes. This guitar just has a fuck ton of bass, given the fact that it's comparatively to that the A string. That's kind of wild. But hey, this is why we do what we do, right? So I really like this setting. I've actually loaded this sim before just to get this setting on onto my other chains. Excuse me. Specifically because like right now this is happening before the IR. But if you look at its placement in the chain here, it actually is the very last thing that happens in this particular signal path. So I will sometimes load this up. Oh, y'all can't see it. And I forgot I'm on the wrong screen. Oops, my bad, y'all. All right, so This particular plugin right here, as the JST Toneforge Jeff Loomis, such a good sim. But this dynamics processor at the end here is what I was talking about, and you can see if I take it away. Yeah, see, I'm peaking my freaking speakers. So but it's such an effective freaking tool that oh, started to get some lock up there. Yeah, it's such an effective tool that I love to use it, even by itself. So I'll like literally load it up, turn everything else off, and then put it like last in my chain because it's sick. But I mean, just like a couple of small tweaks like that. I would probably dial back the gain. See, that's like noticeably less, right? However, like one of the benefits of it is, I can bring the plumes in a little bit more, but like if you go to quad track or something, then having less gain is going to allow you to fit more guitars in that space and like just still feel massive. How's that part? But there's another riff. Like that's something I like to do on 6 strings a lot. That one, however, needs a little extra help. So like what I would do in that situation is I'd probably dial up my pedal here, maybe even dial up the amp gain a little bit, but I would bring back the bass a little bit because this one's there's a little bit of that top end bite that we were missing. So that's kind of a fun one. I like that sim a lot. These are definitely some of my go-tos. We're going to try another sim real quick as a kind of the end of the stream, if you will. There we go. Just completely turn the sim off. Let's try one that I technically kind of struggle with. I actually really want to use Bogren Digital's amp knob, but for some reason on my system, it does this crazy thing where it makes this absolutely horrid noise as soon as I load the plugin. I'm not sure what's going on with it. I actually need to contact their support and see if maybe there's like a bug fix or something that needs to happen. My configuration on my PC just might be weird. This one. Okay, here we go. So, excuse me. I love this plugin, but I have yet to get it to sound good. So, see what I mean? I mean, obviously, I haven't done a whole lot yet. We're like running through a clean channel. We've got the plumes going with the dry or at the gate, which is what we need. So now, it's volume. That's gain. Excuse me. Kind of like how this one gets a little. That's a little spankier. That's more like full tone. That's super low. I don't like that. So let's try. I actually kind of want to see what we can do with that. But it's going to need a little extra gain. So we're going to give it some help. Okay. Let's see what we got here. What is this? I'm not noticing as much of a difference. I think I'm on the wrong channel for that, maybe. We'll drive it a little harder. We'll see what happens. So treble. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. This is the first time that I have felt good about a rhythm tone out of this thing. But you hear how now it's like it's lacking a little bit of saturation. So what are we gonna do there? Well, it's just I can't seem to get the gain out of it that I like. So instead, let's just go ahead and push things with the pedal here. I'm getting a little bit of peak though. Yeah, so Helix Native is pushing a little too hard. So we're gonna bring back the level. I was even clipping it here. Man, it's just a loud plugin. All right, so let's go ahead and dial that back. I apologize. Man, what are you doing to me? Let's go ahead and use this to also control the volume. Okay, let's see what we got here. All right. Yeah, it looks like it might just need a little extra, push more than you might expect it to have to push it. Yeah, see, as you start to tweak some of these settings, like the one that I like over here, if I put it back over here, I automatically get some of the saturation, but I lose some of the definition for the single note stuff that I was liking. Oh, head of course. What was it? How did it go? See, I like this because like you have to play harder when your amp is a little more dry like this. I mean, I can sit here and push the gain. And if I was going for that, same kind of tonality for the... But I'm not. If I'm doing like, when I push the gain like that, it becomes easier to do that. but you can tell that I lose some of the note definition. So you turn the gain back down. If I'm not playing real hard, you're instantly going to notice. You know, if I'm just like. So I like how that type of set, like when you set your amp that way, it brings out your touch dynamics a lot more. It's very cool. So there you go. That's the Euphoria. You can technically switch to different amp models. I didn't load up amp box. You had to load up through amp box. So yeah, that one's cool. That's a good. I actually don't hate that sound, to be 100% honest with y'all. Let's try. All right, this one honestly is one of my favorites because it's like really hard to make it sound good. Where is it? Is it Audio Assault? Yeah, Bulldog. We'll see if my CPU is not really a fan of this particular plugin. As you can see, let me bring it over here. That is my peak. Now, if I come in here and turn this off, where's the power? There we go. Slowly but surely, I start to get back some of my performance. Okay. This thing is ridiculous. This is like one of the most dry amps on the friggin' face of the planet. But what I like to do is I like to switch over to rhythm. Right? Throw on boost. Just like this switch right here from low gain. But if you just like kick it up to high gain. I prefer it with a little extra bite. I believe Edge is like a mid push. Or no, sorry, Edge is like a little extra. Yeah, I don't really care for the way it pushes the treble. And then the mid shift, you know, adds more like type of sound. But again, this is another one of those ones that like it's just really dry. If I were to turn off the plumes, if I use the Horizon devices, it tightens things up. But you hear how it's got like even less life, despite the fact that the Horizon is, pushing over the 50% mark, which is funny because I always thought the Horizon devices pedal was kind of a hot pedal. I thought it was supposed to be, but not as hot as the plumes. So the plumes is just doing cool things. It does add a little bit of wet saturation to this amp that it's obviously not meant to have. Luckily, it's got a little built-in EQ, so I can take the 500-ish area out because I'm not a big fan of that. And then we get, and then even on my actual 6505 MH, I tend to do this. I tend to go like, 4 of 10 on depth and 6 of 10 on presence. Not bad, right? So with this amp, you know, you have to play a little bit harder. You can lean into it. You can push the gain more to get a little bit more out of it. But like if you notice that, like it always maintains that like that kind of a dry characteristic. If I really wanted to get it like to sound saturated, then I would use like the plumes. But I don't really care for that sound with this particular amp. This one is much better for the other stuff that I tend to play. Like, let me see if I can do it right now. Oh my god! Forgot how to play my own song. Oh my god. I actually forgot how to play that. That's so funny. I am not going to spend my stream trying to relearn it on the fly, though. We're not doing that. It's funny, though, because like I like this tone, and it ended up not being the tone that I went with when I was working on that track. I actually used something that I'm much more comfortable with. And this is kind of what I was alluding to earlier when I first started talking about tones. I think we kind of all have our go-to. And I think that's okay, especially like if you're trying to write quickly, which I tend to. I have been trying very hard lately to not lean so much into questioning everything that I do. Now, I would prefer to be fast. So this is much more of my like go-to rhythm tone. Right? And that's because, it just has so much bite, so much attack. So with my tone hunting, I will tend to reach out, try a few different things. So like I kind of landed on the Bulldog, and I'm enjoying that. And I'm actually going to turn that back on because I do like it a lot. So yeah, don't be afraid to, if for anybody who sees this that maybe is new to amp sims or amps in general, don't be afraid to just try things, twist knobs, see what you come up with. So for me, that's pretty cool. I like it. I'm going to try it real quick with the other IR. I think the other thing for anyone who's not experienced with this sort of thing, be careful with IRs. Grab a pack and then don't worry so much about the pack itself. Just scroll through, and then when you find one that's close to what you like, see what I mean? Like even here, when I first switched to that IR, I didn't like the way it sounded. You just twist a couple knobs, like I changed the depth to get some more bass out of it. Back to calculations. Thank you. I'm actually about to wrap up the music stream. I'm probably going to be switching over here to video games pretty soon. But yeah, for anyone who is jumping into amp sims for the first time or just doesn't feel very confident in what they're going for, just don't question it. Is my best advice. Literally, just play. Like pick a type of riff first, maybe. Like if you know that your song's going to be doing, right? Then lean into that. Like what am I hearing? I'm hearing I need a little less gain, but I need slightly more treble, and I need to bring the mids back. I kind of dialed back the presence. I'm gonna take the depth because I think I overshot it. There's a little more bite there. I think it's a little too much. I'm gonna just So that's my best advice. Pick the type of riff you want to play, and then tone chase with that riff in mind. Because I think that we kind of all suffer from this idea that we'll just grab our guitar, load up an amp sim, or grab an amp, in real life or whatever, and just like expect it to always sound good. And I don't think that's the way it works. So don't be afraid to experiment. And see where your plethora of amp sims might take you. I have so many more than I went over today, but I felt like I kind of already touched on some cool stuff. If anybody sees this on YouTube later and would like me to like dive into specific amp sims that I've got, or like, if you're on the fence about something, feel free to ask me if I've got it. And if I've got it, I can do like a segment on that particular amp sim and how I might dial it in for a couple of different riffs, just to give anybody else who's out there maybe thinking about buying specific amp sims, a good chance to hear what they're capable of. So I want to thank y'all for coming to hang out. And I'm going to have to work on that section that I was struggling with earlier. So that'll probably be what I do this week. Maybe by next weekend, I'll be able to show off kind of a version. Honestly, the song's like on version 5 or 6 now. But version 2 as far as the stream is concerned. So thank you for stopping by. And if you watch us on YouTube later, I appreciate you checking things out. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments. I'll see y'all.